Historically, though, I mean, this is not the first time that the BSP has been on a hike mode here. It has been done, at least if I'm not mistaken, back in 2018. Can you give us an idea here in terms of numbers? How might that impact your outlook here for the property space, especially for the residential sector?
It's good that you highlighted that, Jess, because in 2018, even if the central bank raised interest rates, we have to note that 2018 was a very good year for the pre-selling condominium market in Metro Manila. Why? Because at that time, we have a POGO demand.
Mm.
So POGOs played a significant role in raising the demand for condominium units, for pre-selling condominiums across Metro Manila. In fact, that was a record high, 57,000 units sold in the pre-selling market. And that was mainly driven by this POGO demand, and that has resulted in aggressive development of condominiums, especially in the Bay Area. And
Mm-hmm.
even for the office market, that was a very good year, again, because of the demand from POGOs. 2017 up to 2019, this is a period when we would see 1 million, almost 1 million square meters of office space being taken up in the market. And then in the pre-selling condominium, an average of 50,000 condo units sold in the pre-selling market. So even if you saw interest rates rising during that year, that was a pretty good period for the property market overall.
And that, I guess, also marks the difference between then and now. I mean, are POGO numbers even back for us to be confident for them to actually somehow bump up growth for the property sector? It's very interesting as well in your report that you're seeing an emergence of non-Chinese POGOs. Can you nuance that more for us?
That's correct, Jess. But looking at our second quarter report, we're only recording deals from POGOs ranging from 11,000, 14,000 square meters per transaction. These are deals in the Bay Area as well as Circuit area here in Makati, French. We're no longer seeing a single transaction from the Chinese POGO companies wherein they would occupy 30,000, 40,000 square meters of office space in a single transaction. And these are mainly Southeast Asian POGOs, meaning they cater to the Southeast Asian market.
Mm-hmm.
You have the likes of Vietnamese, Indonesian POGOs. Of course, in China, it's still a no COVID, zero COVID policy, still a tight lockdown. So we're still not seeing Chinese tourists or Chinese employees trickling into the Philippines. So it might take time for these deals to materialize, although they've been sounding off some queries, not just for office, but even for condominium, multiple condominium units.
Okay, now outside of POGOs, your report at least is quite bullish or hinging or really dependent on a return to office trend that we're seeing at the moment. But also, that's happening on the back of high inflationary environment. How might that affect residential leasing?
Well, for the residential leasing, Jess, what we have been seeing overall in the market is because of this return to mandate office of some companies, employees are now looking for condominium units to lease out. So these are the major business districts in Metro Manila, Makati CBD, Ortigas Center, Bay Area, Fort Bonifacio that are primarily benefiting from these stronger take-up of condominium units for rent. However, there still are substantial number of condominium units for lease in the market, and that's one of the reasons why we're still looking at vacancies ranging from 17 to 18%. There will be a slow recovery, almost 2% increase in rents, but it will be a slow, gradual recovery. And then, because of a lot of units in the market that are vacant and are for rent, yields are also starting to compress. We saw yields peaking at about 7.1%, previously 8%, and now they're down to a little over 4%. And that has been resulting in, slower launches in the market. Developers somehow holding off new launches. And let's see moving forward if how developers respond to this rising interest rates.
Okay, slow take up there in the residential space. Entirely different picture for the office market here. You're seeing robust demand here for the office space. But that also happens at a time wherein there's a looming recession, especially in the West. How well positioned is the country to actually take advantage of this recession?
Well, we would like to believe that the Philippines will benefit somehow from the global recession. We saw this 2007, 2008, 2009. Some companies in the United States ramped up outsourcing activities from the Philippines, outsourcing some of their services here because they had to save on costs. So that has resulted also in greater office take-up, especially after the global financial crisis 2009, 2010. In fact, some reports say that the U.S. economy could have grown at a much faster pace if a lot of companies really outsourced their activities from key outsourcing destinations such as the Philippines. And also, I have to note that the peso is depreciating. So it is now much cheaper to outsource activities from the Philippines. $1 can now purchase 54 pesos, 55, 56 pesos worth of service. So that has that should have a positive impact on office space absorption moving forward. And again, we project the BPOs to dominate the office take-up across Metro Manila over the next 12 months.
All right, lots of factors playing out well for the office space market. Can you say the same for the retail space here? I mean, let's pick up a report from the Inquirer here saying that SM Prime will be charging mall tenants in full again. That's after giving them concessions over the course of the pandemic. Should other developers follow suit, do you see this affecting the rebound you're seeing for the retail sector?
I think so. I think it's about time also for some mall operators to follow suit. And in fact, we're glad with this news, because back in fourth quarter of 2021, we in fact projected that rents will start to increase 2023. So somehow this calls to now charge full rents from retailers is aligned with our projection of an increase in mall lease rates starting 2023. But I think it's also justified because you now see consumer traffic footfall across malls in Metro Manila back to 60-70% of pre-pandemic level. And we see revenge shopping, revenge dining across Metro Manila. I went to a mall in Makati yesterday and it's back to the brim.